Hello and welcome to Leeds Hacks News on Thursday the 8th of December. I'm Lee Francis.
And I'm Holly Beattie. Here are today's headlines. The Real Junk Food Cafe in Armley will be shut down at weekends due to the high amounts of violence.
The life and times of the first Leeds Women MP, as told by the current Leeds MP Rachel Reeves.
And the Northern Lights projection at the Corn Exchange brings magic to this Christmas season. A pay-as-you-go cafe in Armley has decided to shut its doors on weekends due to an increase in antisocial behaviour.
The Real Junk Food project is now a global network of cafes aiming to turn food waste into healthy, cheap meals for those in need. Hannah Kirk has more.
The Junk Food project is known throughout Leeds for its tireless community work and tasty meals. But over recent weeks, the Armley Junction has had to take new measures to deal with the antisocial behaviour happening in their cafe. Opening in December 2013, the cafe has become a true staple in the Armley area. However, violent acts, drunken behaviour and even drug deals have left the team with no other option but to close over the weekends to protect their staff and volunteers. We spoke to Chris Green, a director at the Real Junk Food project, to find out what's been going on.
Antisocial behaviour from a minority of people. We serve a lot of people on a weekend, but obviously it's always the same with anything. There's a minority of people that are causing the problems. To be fair, they're just coming in, and no matter what we say or do, they don't listen to us. We had a meeting with the police and the council, and they promised us certain things that's not happened. So that's a bit upsetting, really. We're not safe. We've got safeguarding problems around our staff that don't feel comfortable working in the cafe on a weekend because of the behaviour of the people that come in.
Let's hope they can reopen their doors at weekends soon. This is Hannah Kirk reporting for Leeds Hacks News.
A Leeds councillor says he was surprised to be the only member of the local authority to attend a meeting which discussed the controversial issues of fracking.
Fracking involves drilling deep underground to extract shale gas. Supporters say this is one solution to the energy crisis, but others say it is damaging to the environment. Joe Byrne reports.
Come to West Yorkshire. It is an issue that has been met with strong opposition from activists. We spoke to Councillor Brian Cleesby.
The future energy needs of the country have to be protected. That is a given. We can't argue against that. I think now, the more that I'm learning about it, and I'm not totally made up my mind, I think there's some distance to go on what we need. I think we need to be looking at the results through the world so far, because this was something totally new. Remember, before that, anything we want come out of the ground, we sent men down, which meant a really big hole to get the men down, a really big hole to get the coal and the product that we're taking out of the ground up. We need to be, when we sit down in Leeds, if an application comes in, we need to have in front of us the very latest technology, the very latest advice, and the very latest in what has been decided are the safeguards to ensure that's carried out. Now, we can't make a decision sensibly until that is done.
I'm here at one of 4 sites in England which is large enough to deal with the wastewater that comes from fracking. People are worried about the public health concerns that attach to the water that comes from fracking, and Yorkshire Water, who are applying for the permit here, have said that they will only take the water if it meets their standards, but haven't actually said what their standards are. Joe Byrne, reporting for Leeds Hacks News.
And now some news in brief. A man has appeared in court following a sexual assault on 2 women in Leeds. The incident happened on York Road, Seacroft on Wednesday, October the 26th. He's in remand in custody pending a further hearing.
A white Ford Transit van has been stolen from Burke Lane last night. It had been hired by the St George's Crypt Christmas Appeal. It was to distribute toys to vulnerable children who would have got nothing for Christmas this year. If anyone has any information, please contact St George's Crypt.
Thousands of people in Leeds have been waiting for almost a decade on the register for council homes.
Many could be without a home this holiday season. Fatima Bangawala reports.
The shortage of affordable homes in Leeds has led to a crisis for council home waiting lists.
Over 600 children in the region of Leeds will be without a home this Christmas due to a rising issue of waiting lists for council homes.
1,575 people have been on the register for more than 10 years, and the total number has increased to 24,275. Campaigner Ellen Rawbottom spoke to us about how this number could be an understatement.
Council housing is not subsidised. It's paid for in the same way as anything else that, you borrow, you invest, and the returns come back gradually over a period of years. Council housing pays for itself over a planned timescale through the rents. But there are things happening now that are making it harder and harder for councils to balance their housing revenue budget because, benefit cuts that are coming in, that's stopping people being able to pay their rent. The bedroom taxes, a drop in the ocean compared with the benefit cap that's come in now. That families are going to be facing shortfalls of things like 75 quid a week, £150 a week in the case of a larger family. Now, £150 a week is a low-end private sector rent for a 3-bedroom house. A lot of people couldn't cover that already under local housing allowance.
This is Fatima Banglawala for Leeds Tax News.
The MP for Leeds West, Rachel Reeves, has written a biography of the first female MP in Yorkshire, Alice Bacon.
The book recounts Alice's time in Westminster and documents the achievements of female MPs in politics. I spoke to Rachel to find out more.
Was the first female member of Parliament for Yorkshire, but until I was elected in 2010 for Leeds West, Alice was the only woman to have been an MP in the city of Leeds. And so when I was elected, I thought, well, I'd like to find out a little bit more about this woman, the only woman who's done this job before. But Alice's impact goes beyond being one of those female pioneers. She was in Wilson's government in the 1960s, a government that, with her support, decriminalised homosexuality, legalised abortion, got rid of the death penalty, and Alice was the minister at the Home Office who took through those reforms.
And in your opinion, do you think she'd be pleased with the progress the Labour Party is still making or has made since her time in Parliament?
Well, Alice served on Labour's National Executive for 30 years, and during that time there were big struggles between the left and the right of the party, and Alice would be the first to say it was some of those struggles that kept Labour out of government for all of the 1950s. But Alice was also very much of the view that to have a Labour government you needed a moderate Labour Party, and so she was a Gateschallite, Gateschall seen on the right of the party, also a Leeds MP, and I think she would be concerned about the leftward shift in the party, because for her, most of all, what you wanted to see was a Labour government, because it was a Labour government that would make those reforms to improve the lives of working class people, the people who she went into politics to represent. I do find in Alice inspiration. I also think that it's because of women like Alice that it makes being a woman in Parliament a little bit easier today. And also we see now in local government here in Leeds, in the Labour group, the Labour group of councillors, more than half of the councillors are women, and that's really important.
What impact would you like the book to have when people read it?
Well, I think that too many women have been written out of history. When we look back at politicians over the last 100 years, people more often pick out men rather than women. And if you think about the governments that Alice served in the 1960s, again, people talk about the men from that area, with Barbara Castle aside, more than they talk about the women. And I want to revive Alice, but also remind people that it's women that make history.
Leeds United Football Club owner Massimo Cellino is set to face a long ban for breaching football agent rules.
The Italian has been in the centre of many controversies since arriving at the club back in 2014, and this will be his third ban in 2 years. Oliver Dixon reports.
Leeds owner Massimo Cellino is facing an 18-month ban and a £250,000 fine after illegal payments were made to an unlicensed advisor over the sale of Ross McCormack in 2014. We spoke to Dave Carrington of the Leeds United Supporters Trust about what he thought of the situation.
I don't think it will affect things on the pitch. I think they're all professional. Gary Monk will have them all into the right mindset. So I think it'll be business as usual as regards performances. Considering this is potentially the third time it's been banned now, he obviously has no disregard for the laws in Britain, and I think the Football League of FA have took a long time to come to this verdict, so I'm pretty confident that they are certain that it's the right course of action. I don't think it'll affect stability at all. I think we're actively looking for new owners now at Leeds, and this could possibly expedite the process.
In a statement, Massimo Cellino said, I am surprised to read the news regarding the FA's intentions to ban and fine me, as well as the club. I am not guilty and I will take the right steps to defend myself through the tribunal. I feel that I am guilty of one thing, and that is protecting Leeds United since I took charge of the club.
Leeds United have pleaded guilty to the FA charge, but Massimo Cellino is set to appeal against the ban.
Oliver Dixon, Leeds Hacks News.
Walking around the city, you may have noticed the Northern Lights are looking slightly brighter this year, with a new display enabling us to explore the Aurora Borealis for ourselves.
The project is created and funded by Leeds Business Improvement District and is on show at the Corn Exchange as part of the Leeds Light Trail. I went to find out more. Christmas is a magical time of year with the campaign to bring more people into Leeds this year over the Christmas period. The idea of the Northern Lights at the Corn Exchange is part of the 15 displays currently running across the city of the Art, Light and Magic Trail that has already proved popular.
You've got the Northern Lights inside and outside the Corn Exchange. Quite something. We wanted to capture this building better in the city centre. It is an amazing building, one of the oldest and most historic in the city centre, and sometimes people don't notice it, so we thought, well, what better way to get it noticed than light it up. You can see it all the way down Boar Lane, and you can come and experience the light show from really about now, 3:30, through into the early evening, and at the moment we are looking at expanding that to run through the night outside. And cloud down there from Glass Ciphers. It snows in that cloud at one point, so it is overtly Christmassy for about 2 minutes. But you know, otherwise it's a little bit more left field, but somehow still works. I think I can confidently predict that what we've tried to do is create something great for this year. Really interesting and really engaging. But what we also want to do is try and create a model of a type of campaign that I think it wouldn't be the same, you know, the same 15 things. I think there are one or two that might be quite similar because they've proved really popular, but I think we would approach it in a similar way. Commission artists, use some of the local student talent, and create this whole range of things. So I think that's something we'd want to use for a couple of years.
You can catch the spectacle, which runs between December the 1st and January the 3rd. One thing is for sure, it certainly does provide some joy on these dark winter nights. Lee Francis reporting for Leeds Hacks News.
And now to the weather.
Well, 1 minute's mild, then it's cold.
The weather doesn't seem to be picking up anytime soon. The remainder of the day will stay cloudy with an occasional drizzle of rain.
Well, that's all from us tonight. Good night.
Goodbye.